The MacGuffin is a plot device that the characters care about, but you as an audience don't. Or don't really. It's the reason that most characters are on the adventure or journey, and in most cases, it's an object, and it's mostly considered to be an almost interchangeable thing, making the journey, adventure, or story more important than the goal they're actually going towards. The term was coined by Angus MacPhail, an English screenwriter and collaborator of the man most attributed with the term MacGuffin, Alfred Hitchcock. Hitchcock's movies are perfect examples of the use of the MacGuffin. The mysteries are inviting and inquisitive and thrilling, but it doesn't really matter why Cary Grant is on the run. It matters that he is on the run and the thrill of watching him be on the run. The MacGuffin works best when it's big and important, but in the vaguest sense. How many times can Ethan Hunt track down the important thing that got into the bad guy's hands, or Harry Potter stop another Voldemort-related thing to happen at Hogwarts? We don't love these movies for the little details of why they happened. We love them for the fun and for the characters that are in it. You don't remember why James Bond was put on the journey in the movie, you just remember that he is. And you have to admit that Bond is almost more about the genre of Bond rather than why Bond is on the mission in the first place. A MacGuffin is usually vague, and even the rules about what a MacGuffin is sort of vague. If you look at the last two Star Wars movies, The Force Awakens and Rogue One, in Rogue One the Death Star plans, also a MacGuffin from another movie too, but are paramount. It's what you're thinking about throughout the entire movie. You never forget about the Death Star plans. There's nothing vague about the Death Star plans. Rogue One may be about the journey, but we understand what the Death Star plans are. Also, they can't really stop shutting up about it, but whatever. I guess you could argue that maybe that's not a MacGuffin, but probably a lot of people would still think it is. And it does start the journey, so I guess, in some ways it is. Even if it isn't something that necessarily is interchangeable, it still probably would be considered a MacGuffin. But in The Force Awakens, to find the map to find Luke Skywalker almost fade from your memory. While watching it, you're more concerned with Finn and Rey and Han Solo and Kylo Ren and that stupid Death Star thing. By the end, you're almost like, oh right, the map to find Luke Skywalker. Sorry, we totally forgot about you there. Like the adventure sort of took on a mind of its own while still sort of being about it. I think that's what Hitchcock liked about it. And I guess you could argue stricter rules for a MacGuffin, but most really don't. A MacGuffin is a plot device, but it is not an example of all plot devices. It is not a person, or usually something that you really care about as an audience all that much. Some people say that and they get what a plot device is, but a MacGuffin is mostly used in thrillers, adventure, and journey films to give the story a reason to start, and is usually an object that often feels interchangeable, and in most cases a character who the protagonist is looking for isn't or should not be interchangeable. A MacGuffin is more about the chase and the adventure and the experience that comes from something. It's everything to them and nothing to you, but it'll always be the drive and the stuff that dreams are made of. It's an absolute in a movie that is an abstract in real life. And it's a lot of fun watching people chase it, because it doesn't really matter what it means, it matters what it creates.
Someone asked, what is a MacGuffin? And it's described in a scene in an English train going to Scotland. And one man says to the other opposite him, he said, what's that package above your head there? And the other man said, oh, that's a MacGuffin. He said, well, what is a MacGuffin? He said, well, it's an apparatus for trapping lions in the Scottish Highlands. The man said, but there are no lions in the Scottish Highlands. He said, then that's no MacGuffin.
Thank you for clearing that up for us.
Oh, yes.
I'm Jim Gisriel, and this was Deep Focus.